Hi guys, good evening. Let's get started. Yesterday we discussed about IDOR and privilege escalation. As part of IDOR, we try to refer the objects or the functions that are there in the backend framework. So basically, the user provided input will be controlling those parameters that are there in the backend. That's how the IDOR works, and we try to look for any kind of dynamic parameters in the request or the URL or any kind of input fields. Whereas privilege escalation, these issues will come up because of the implementation flaws, design flaws, or any kind of defects, right? Attacker makes use of those flaws for performing the unauthorized activities in case of privilege escalation. And we have horizontal privilege escalation and vertical privilege escalation. Horizontal means the user with some permissions is able to perform unauthorized activity to a different user with a similar permission. Okay. Whereas in vertical, basically the user with some permissions, a non-admin user, is able to gain permissions of a admin user, right? The elevation of permissions you can see in vertical privilege escalation. This is what we have discussed in yesterday's session. In today's topic, we talk about path traversal attack. Path traversal attack or directory traversal attack, all are same. Traversal attack or // attack. This is also one of the name for the path traversal attack. So how do you test it? Whenever you see any kind of references to the file, for example, file is equal to x.jpeg or file is equal to index.html, or it can be like location is equal to some xyz.aspx. Whenever you see this kind of references, obviously what you have to do is you need to change the reference of this file to a file that is existing in the server. So there is one more vulnerability called LFI, local file inclusion. Here also we try to refer a local file, but here you try to give the absolute path. Means exactly the location of the file you need to give, and that the file based on the permissions you'll be able to read or not. That's how the LFI works. Whereas in case of directory traversal attack, we try to replace the directory path or the folder path with .. Okay. For example, in general, if you see any kind of Linux, right, where www, this is a root folder. Root folder can be the application name like dvwa or xyz / any kind of files or images. Just a second, guys. dvw / images. Here you will try to store all the files, list of files, and maybe you are trying to access this file x.jpeg is here in this location, or even index.html also in the same location, right? Assume like x.jpeg is there. If you try to give the entire path, then it will become an absolute path. That is called local file inclusion. But whereas if you want to access some files or folders, you don't know the file name, so what we do now, we try to give like .. for the first one, and another dot dot slash for the second folder, another dot dot slash for the third folder. This is also one of the folder, right? Dot dot slash. So dot dot slash, it means that it can be any folder. That's how this path traversal attack works. And finally, I give x dot jpeg. This is how we need to construct the payload for all these path traversal attack. But it can be like most of the times we try to refer the sensitive file content called passwd. This is like this. In case images is there, clear? Fair enough. Now what we do now? We'll try to do some of the simple labs, very easy. We'll go one after another. Okay. Some of the labs you may have to give this dot dot slash. Some labs you may need to give the absolute path. Some labs we need to bypass some of the restrictions that are set by the application. Let us do that now. We'll use the ports figure labs again. Go to the labs and then within the labs try to access path traversal labs after you log in. I'm sending you the path for this. Start with the first one. Very simple. Basically, some x.jpg or png is there. You need to mention like dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash comes thrice, right? And finally etc slash passwd, because after var slash triple w there is one more folder. That is the reason these three folders. Then at last you need to give etc slash passwd. This is the first lab. You guys give a try. Launch this in a new window. After you launch this, try to click on access the lab. Once you click on this, you'll get the URL for test. I have already mentioned that to make use of the Bugsuit tool. Right? Copy the URL and then go to the Bugsuit browser. In the Bugsuit browser, launch this URL. First thing is you need to identify what is the path of the folder where the images are getting loaded, right? For that, we have so many images here. Right click, inspect, or view page source. Tell me what is the location, what is the path of the folder where the files are getting stored, all these files in this application. Confirm me in the chat, all of you. First, try to find out the location where the images are getting stored. Later, we attempt for the path traversal payload. 2 minutes to go. Give me the location name, folder name. The task is very simple. You log into the Figure labs, academic labs, log into the account. After you log in, then take the attack related to the path traversal. Payload is dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash slash etc slash passwd. That is a payload. Only thing is you need to try in the first lab. This is path traversal. Simple scenario. Launch that application and in the Bugsuit browser. After you launch that, Then the task is first try to find out the folder where the files are getting stored, all these product related images, where it is getting stored. If you know the location, then you can tamper the data for extracting the passwd content. What is the location of the file? You need to find out the root folder first and then the location where exactly we are storing the files. Right click or view page source, page source. Lot of files will be there, but we know that. But before, maybe before that, check the image location. We have one image here. Right click, copy image address, paste it here. So definitely they are trying to refer some file name, right? And slash image is the one which they are trying to refer that folder. Now one more thing. Control F, search for image, slash resources, slash images is there. Okay. Slash image file name. Maybe image is one of the folder, and then within that we are trying to get the files. Am I correct? Yeah. Now it will be like before this image, we don't know what exactly is the folder, but mostly it will be like var slash triple w. Okay. We play around with this dynamic parameter file name. This is the location of the file and the URL where we try to fetch the details. Why don't we intercept this specific request by using the burp set? Very simple. Once you got the file path, turn on the interceptor, go to the browser, enter. The request has been intercepted, right? That is a HTTP request. Right click, send to repeater. Now, as a normal flow, you process this request, you get the response. The request is pointing to the image file, so we are able to get that image in the response in that form. You change this file name to slash etc slash passwd. Most of the cases, try with slash etc slash passwd, which is an absolute path. Check the response. We didn't get it, right? Dot dot slash etc slash passwd. No response. Another dot slash. No response. Another dot slash. We got the response, right? The reason why it is working for three times of this dot slash is where is the folder which they are trying to compensate in general in the Linux based servers. First dot slash is for where, second dot slash is for triple w, the third is the relative path image folder is 0. That's what they are referring. There's a reason thrice we have used it. Can you guys try this lab now? First lab, try to do it. I'll copy this for the reference purpose of other labs. You can directly give it in the application also. Application URL. Okay, it is showing the image, but actually this image consists of the content also. Do it now, all of you. This domain or the root folder. Within that, image folder is there. So in general, var slash triple w, that is root folder. After that, image is one more folder. Within that image, they are trying to store all the images. Confirm in the chat once it is done. Are you guys doing it or not? Another 3 minutes, then we'll move on to the second lab. You can edit the path in the source also, but it is little tedious process. But should you can try multiple combinations. In case if you are sure about the payload and the location, you can try it by overwriting the file name in the source code. Let me move on to the second lab. Here in the second lab, basically, we are trying to give the absolute path. Sometimes this will work. It may not work with the dot dot slash because the application owner would have set some restrictions to either delete or ignore those dot dot slash. Okay, that's how like we'll not be able to access with dot dot slash. Directly give the path as etc slash pass directory. That is the second lab. The third one is very interesting. One, two, three. Basically, you have to use the payloads like 4 dots double slash because the application might be filtering like whenever you it sees dot dot slash it deletes it. That's how this third lab is there. That is file path traversal sequences stripped non-recursively. Non-recursively means only once. Recursively means continuous. So try to do this lab, all of you. Very interesting one. I'll not tell you the payload. If you want to read the hints, you can read. First, try to access this lab. solution. Okay, don't copy the payload, but try to see like how you can uh, construct this. They have given the hint like use these kind of things, four dots and slash slash. These are the things which we have to use it in the payload. If you are able to do it, confirm it. Anyone got the actual payload which is working? Let me give you some overview on that. In case if you provide payload like this, the application knows that you are trying dot dot slash dot dot slash dot. Wherever you see wherever the application finds dot dot slash, directly it will delete it like this. Again, it will become etc slash pastwd, which is not found in the server. So what they are saying is the kind of the payload which you need to try. Application is trying to delete wherever it finds dot dot slash. So how about in case if I prepare a payload like dot dot slash, twice if you use, even all these four instances will be deleted. Some or other way, how about this dot dot slash? This payload I use it in the place of dot dot slash. When the application tries to find out, in case if the application sees dot dot slash like this, in this entire payload dot dot slash is here, right? So what happens? The application, because of some kind of filtering, it deletes it. Once it deletes, this will become a real path. Understood? So the payload should be like this should be the payload. The application will try to remove any kind of dot dot slashes. After removing all these dot dot slash in this payload, at last you remove dot dot slash here, and again dot dot slash in the second placeholder, third, we'll get the original payload which we want to try. That's how it works for the third one. Can you guys try it? This application, copy the access the lab, copy the URL, not the URL, image location. Right click, copy image address. Now go to the browser, virtual browser, paste it over there, and then enter. We are not intercepting the request. Turn on the interceptor. Again, enter. The request has been intercepted. Right click, and send it to the repeater. Go to the repeater. The normal case it will work, right? And you give dot dot slash. Hold on. The payload which was working earlier, you try it here. Send. It says the file not found. This specific payload is not working, right? Absolute path also doesn't work. What I do is I try to add additional dot dot slash, which will become like four dots double slash. Again, four dots double slash, four dots double slash. So the first level of stripping or escaping this dot dot slash will happen as the application is trying to remove those special characters. And after removing the first level of all these double dot dot slash, the original payload will be the final one will give the meaning of the original payload. Send. It is working now. Okay. Try all of you this specific lab. Very interesting one. Okay, let me ask you a simple question. You tell me whether it works or not. I'm trying to give like this. Instead of forward slash, I'm trying to use backward slash. Does it works? Yes or no? In fact, it depends on the application. If they had set a filter to remove dot dot slash only, then this case will not work. If they have set the filter to remove dot dot backward slash also, then it will work. Not found. But this is also one of the payload. In case if the first case not working, you can try with this one also. Confirm me once this is done. Very simple. Launch the lab. Copy paste the payload. For now, maybe you can practice it one more time after the session. By the time you practice this, I try to open the different lab. I'll give you some of the details for that. The next lab is on the encoding of the payload. You see, like whenever you try to give dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash etc slash pass wd, it is working so far. What in case if it doesn't work? You have tried all the combinations. One approach is you have to depend on encoding of the payloads, right? Or encoding of the payload so that decoding is happening at the end, on the receiving end. We should be able to get the plain text value of the payload, which is going to work. Try this now, all of you. Okay, before this, try this four dots and double slash. Finish the previous lab. Later, I'll show the encoded payloads. Done the previous one. Okay, all of you pay attention. I'll try to finish this last lab. Very easy one. Almost all are similar labs. Only thing is the payload, how you need to know the structure of the payload, how you are trying to define that. This is a very interesting one and important. Interceptor is off. Turn on the interceptor, go to the browser, enter. The request has been intercepted. Right click, send it to the repeater. We were trying with the payload, the normal payload is this is the one, the actual payload. Give this payload and see the response. No such file found. Okay, copy these characters, go to the decoder. Basically, you need to try all the possible combinations. Encoded as URL, you do URL encoding, HTML encoding, base64 encoding. As of now, I am trying to do the URL encoding. This is the payload we have got. Copy this. After you copy, go to the, okay, we are in the same tool. Repeater. Replace these double dots slash with the encoded payload and send. Still, we didn't get any response. It says no such file found. What should we do? Anyone? Any thoughts? You guys can give a try or guess. Either you make use of mic or chat. I did an encode of the dot slash, it didn't work. Normal case also it didn't work. Can we try HTML encode instead of URL encode? HTML encode. Let me copy and try this case also. Send, no luck. URL encode and we got this output. This output, try to encode it again one more time. Again, one more encoding. We are done the encoding twice. Copy this payload, go to the repeater and give it before etc slash passwd. You can ask me a question. Why don't we encode complete etc slash passwd also? Actually, whatever you get before this slash etc is the relative path, right? Always we need to concentrate on the relative path. After balancing the relative path, then only the etc slash passwd will be in a plain text to extract the content of that. In this case, I have used this payload, I mean to say dot slash, encoded twice by using URL encoding. Send. Now it worked. Okay, fine guys. Another 3 minutes, try to perform the last two labs. Monday will not have any session, and Tuesday I'll be taking one more session on web related attacks. Mostly we'll work on the authentication mechanism, SAML, auth, these kind of authentication mechanisms. Few labs I try to cover in that Tuesday session. Wednesday we start with IoT. Or else, can you guys do this one for your assignment offline? Post your alternates, all of you, with your name slash location.